All right, so did an Instagram video earlier showing how I went from this shot with Victoria to this shot with Victoria. So notice how the jacket was bunched up in the back originally, and I liked the shot, but I didn't like the way the jacket was bunched up. So let me show you how I went into Photoshop and fixed that. All right, so let's get into this. So love this shot. Not crazy about the little bunchiness here and how the jacket kind of goes here. Other than that, I like it. It's a very, sexy shot without necessarily being revealing, and I like that. So let's start off, and I'll do, just to have proper Photoshop etiquette, a Control J or duplicate the background, which you can, let's do it through the menu. Right click on the base layer and choose duplicate layer. Background copy is fine, or you can just do Control J. It's a lot quicker. So we'll make a copy of the background, and I'm going to go to my pen tool and make sure you are using, if you hold down on the pen tool icon, you should have several options here of different versions of the pen tool. I personally like the curvature pen tool. It really helps me make selections that go in a curve. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to pick the curvature pen tool. Now, you can do this. I use a pen and tablet a lot, but for this, I'm actually more accurate with the mouse for whatever reason. Just, clicking around what I want to adjust. So I'm going to start, I want to get rid of this right here. Okay. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to start working my way up. And I'm going to try to kind of guesstimate here where I'm going to end up. Kind of didn't guesstimate very well. Let me just go to there. And the jacket is not going to be perfect necessarily, but so I've got this right here. What I want to do is get rid of this, right? I want to make a selection so that I can just isolate that bunched up part right there from the rest of the jacket. So this is the slice that I want to make here, and then I can just come out here and I want to just have a large area here that I can contain my work in, right? And your last click needs to come around to your very first point, right? So your last point will end up being your first point, and that will close off the circle. Now it always does this for some reason. It messes up my stuff. There we go. Work with me here. All right, so then what I'm going to do is right click anywhere inside the sort of, it's not really a circle, but you know what I mean. Right click and choose make selection. That converts this pen selection into the sort of marching ants selection, as they like to call it. So very cool. Now I can zoom out. So now that we've got the selection made, that's just the area that I want to work on so that anything that I do won't bleed into the rest of the picture, right? So any edits I make will be concentrated inside this area here that I've selected. So I'm now going to go to the clone stamp tool right there, and I'm going to do a flow of about 30%, and make sure that your hardness is set to 0%, and that's right here. Under that, hardness 0%. Okay. Now I'm going to increase the size about right there. Left and right bracket key to increase and decrease the size. So I'm going to hold down the Option key, and that's going to give me a little, I don't know, bullet target looking thing. And I'm going to target, say, this spot right here. This is a little darker up here. I'm going to target this spot right here and just click, and that grabs a sample of that spot. If I come over here, you can kind of see it's got the brown in there, and it's only at 30% though, so the flow is going to be reduced, right? And that's just so I'm just a little bit more careful with it. Now see, I got some ghosting there, so Control Z. You got to be careful because it doesn't just clone stamp this, it clone stamps as you move. So as I move around, it's grabbing a target of something nearby, right? So this is nearby. It keeps grabbing stuff nearby. So it's not perfect again, but I'm going to keep coming around here and kind of cloning this. And I'm going to make this a little smaller right here. Try not to hit the edges of the circle or whatever, the sample area. It's not a circle. Try not to hit those edges on the outside because you'll end up leaving kind of a visible line that you got to come back and fix later. So there we go. So I'm going to just come over here and hit the lasso tool and then just click anywhere. And voila. Little artifact maybe right there and right here. So I'm going to go back to Control Z, and that will go back to my selection. Maybe I missed a spot is what it is. So I'm going to come back here, make this a little smaller, and just come in and grab that spot that I missed. So now, I mean, I'm zoomed in, and I can't even tell really that there was an edit there. I mean, you know, once you zoom out, does that look like there was an edit there? So, I mean, this looks weird now. So let's fix this part. And we could certainly use the same technique and go around and make that happen here. But we may use that. Let's try the Liquify tool first. So if I want to, you know, keep this edit on this layer, we'll call this, I don't know what to call it, pen edit. And then I'll just do a Control J, and that makes a pen edit copy, but let's call this one Liquify. Okay, so we have stuff in different layers. So if I turn off the pen edit, I have that. I turn it back on, and then we'll come back and we have this Liquify edit. Make sure you've got it turned on, that the eyeball is there. So now let's go into the filter from the menu, Liquify. It's going to bring up the Liquify menu. Now, let's kind of zoom in here. I'm going to make this a tiny bit smaller, maybe bigger. And let's just start working this in, right? Small moves, right? So getting there. So now I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Control plus to zoom in. And let's kind of smooth that out there. It's pretty good, and it's a jacket. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. And there's a smooth tool where I could smooth out this line as well, but I'm liking this. I don't feel the need to like try to embellish her figure or anything. Her figure is perfect as it is, so I just want to try to sort of make it align with her figure the way it already is. So that's my goal here. So let me zoom out a little bit and just kind of see what that looks like. I'm pretty happy with that. May come in there and bring that in just a little bit. And that's pretty good. Maybe I bring this down just a little bit right there. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to hit OK. And there we go. So hold down my Shift key and select this one right here, and then I'm going to hit Control G to group those together, and then I'm going to turn the group off, and you can see just like that I went from that to that. And if we zoom in, I mean, if you didn't know I made this edit, would you be able to really for sure, other than maybe there's a little artifact right there. But other, you know, you really got to zoom in to see it. And I could go in right now and I could fix that. But if you didn't know I made an edit, would you know I made an edit on that jacket? I think it came out pretty good. If you disagree, comment. You're a pixel peeper, though. What else? Oh, look at the floor here. This is terrible. Dirty. Why didn't I pull this out more and give her, you know, cleaner paper? I don't know. So now I'm going to just flatten this out. So what I did was I just right-clicked on the background. I choose Flatten Image. All right. So after flattening the layers, I'm just going to do a new blank layer. And I'm going to grab my paintbrush, flow of about 20%. And let's just go in here and just start painting stuff. And we'll just grab that color for starters. I just want to kind of clean this up just a little bit. I'm just taking, you know, swipes across here, just trying to make, you know, the lines that are there a little less, you know, noticeable, right? Maybe we pick that color, kind of just pick this color, kind of just swipe across. There we go. Let me see what that looks like. I want to get some of these too. I see like a dimple in the paper right there. It drives me crazy. Let me see. Swipe across right there. There's another dimple right here. Let's maybe kind of blend this a little bit right there. Right? And blend this right there a little bit. And then I think we got it. So I'm going to just come up here, deselect, and we've smoothed out that paper. We still can kind of see a gradient going back. It's not as light as it was, but it definitely looks better than it did. Let me turn it off. See that? Turn it on, and it just looks a little bit smoother. And you know, you could even bring down the opacity if you just wanted to just show a little bit of texture, you know, so that it's not 100% perfect. You could do that too. I don't know. I don't know what I like. Maybe about right there, so it doesn't look perfect. That'll do. So that's it. We fixed the jacket there, and then we fixed the floor, and that's pretty much it. So give me, if you liked it, give me a like, and if you don't mind, subscribe. If you didn't like it, then beat it. I don't care.